Man, John Cox, dude, you cracked him again today. And before we dive into anything else, I want to know, was it same program as yesterday?
Yeah, it was pretty much the same thing. Kind of went in the same area. Just put my head down, barely got, the bites like yesterday, but just grinded on them, got a couple decent bites, and, it was just a good day.
Well, there's a lot of guys. I mean, it seems the rest of the guys that are playing this schooling fish thing on the main lake are catching – some guys are catching 6 fish. Some guys are catching a bunch of fish, but they're real small. What's the number game like for you?
Yesterday I caught a little bit more than today, and not so many today. But but when I'm getting bit, they're good ones.
Well, and that's been the key. We talked about it a lot before the Cup started, was getting some big key bites, and you definitely have a big buffer going for you right now. The question now is, can it hold up? Is this something you can go out and catch? Did you notice a dwindling effect in size today?
No, not in size. I just noticed they're getting a little more smarter. So I mean, I'm gonna go back in there and just hammer down, and might have to change it up some. I'm not sure, but just try to make it work.
You mentioned yesterday that the time it took you to get to the spot you're going to. Do you have any other areas that you can run? Say you get in there and it doesn't really pan out. Do you got something else, a plan B?
No, I mean, I have some other plans, but once you're in there, you're in there. It's just it takes so long, and but I'm just gonna go in there again and see what happens.
I feel like this year you've really fished well. I mean, you won on Hartwell. You said it was Hartwell something you like to do, right? Sight fishing. This tournament, you mentioned earlier when you were talking to Rob that it also, you have that same feeling. So what's it like after 2 days of fishing to kind of have it coming together?
Yeah, it feels good. It kind of, just brought back memories at Red River and stuff. And, and it just, you get up before the alarm clock and you're ready to go every morning. So, I'm just excited. And I like doing, I like fishing in creeks and stuff, and, getting a crest liner in some skinny water.
Yeah. Well, man, we'll let you get to it. You got some more interviews to do, but good job, dude. Go get them tomorrow. Jacob Wheeler, man, big comeback today, 17-plus pounds. And it's funny because you and I talked on the podcast before this thing got kicked off, and you said, man, if I could have a good start to the tournament, on day one, it could be something. However, now you're making up ground, but dude, at least you're rallying.
For sure. I mean, I really felt like I could probably catch it, that 12, 13-pound bag, every day. But, that's conserving stuff. And so today, I really just I scrapped a lot of my stuff. I went back to a couple areas, caught a few key fish. And, in the middle of the day, I said, you know what? I had a pretty good bag, 13 pounds. I started looking at new stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go do a totally different deal. Caught a couple fish, left that area because I had like 15-something. And then went to a totally different area, caught a 3.5. So, I mean, everything just worked out. The days that it works out, it's unbelievable. Yesterday I couldn't do anything right. Today I couldn't do anything wrong.
Well, I feel like this is one reason that, you are one of the best, especially in tournaments like this where you need to adjust daily. But tell me a little bit about what it's like trying to find new water, especially during the Cup after a practice that was kind of, not so hot. What's it like for you to do that?
Well, I mean, most of the stuff that I'm catching them on, like the one place I caught the 3.5 today, later on this afternoon, I only got one bite there in practice, so I went back to an area that I wasn't really even going to fish, but it was a big area, so it was new water to me, but it wasn't necessarily a brand new area. The places that I caught 2 great big ones this morning. I knew they were there. I lost the fish. Actually, the fish that I caught this morning, it was a 4 1/4. I lost him yesterday, and I was like, I guarantee it was the same fish. And I caught him this morning. I was like, yeah, first fish of the morning. I was like, get down. And so that really started the morning off right. Then I caught his brother, and he was 3 3/4. So I was like, all right, we're starting this off right. And then when you catch those 2 big fish, that allows you to just settle down, get in a little groove, calm down, and just fish methodically. You might fish, you might be fishing fast with the presentation, but you're fishing an area real slowly rather than, covering each and every little bit of water that you have right there.
You also mentioned in that podcast interview that it was this is more of an area thing. It's not a pattern thing, though, like it's played in the past here on Wheeler, running a pattern. After today, when you went and tried to expand a little bit, is it still an area thing, or are you starting to develop something?
It's still an area thing because there's really one ingredient that's really the key, and I'm not going to say that yet, but and there's only so many places that have that ingredient, and so that's really what it comes down to. I mean, it's a pattern, but obviously when I find that, I'm like, ding dong, it's good, it's on. Like I'm gonna catch a few, but the problem is there's only so many places, and and my thing is, when you catch those fish, there's only so many fish around those areas too. So you got to be careful. I actually found the one place that I caught them at today. Last night I was sitting there and I'm like, I got on Google Earth and I'm like looking at when the water's down, I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, that's exactly what I'm looking at. And then went there and caught 2 of them and left. And so that's when I was like, bing, got them. So I knew I was onto something a little bit, but the problem is there's only so many places like that. And tomorrow I'm hoping that I can just scrounge out, that 14, 15 pound bag. I mean, this is the thing, someone could easily come in with 6 or 7 pounds. John Cox, myself, anybody coming with 5, 6, 7 pounds. I mean, it's very possible. There's not that many fish in a lot of those areas, in the backs of those creeks and stuff like that. So it really comes down to really managing those fish and understanding what you're going to do.
Well, final thing I want to know before we let you get rolling here. You've been in these positions before. Obviously, you won the Cup before. But going into day 3, with that first place within sight, well within sight, what's the mindset like for you, for these last 2 days? Like, just what's going on through your head when there's a shot you could be the first guy to win 2 Forrest Wood Cups?
Well, it's halftime. It's halftime right now, and we sucked in the first quarter, but we made a good comeback in the second. So, my whole thing is I'm going to have to do something different. And I knew last year at Ouachita, after I caught a good bag, I caught the biggest bag of day 3, and I regained the lead. And I knew after I caught those fish, I had to find another area, and I never found it. And I knew it was going to be tough for me to win. I needed to have 10, 11, 12 pounds. So it didn't really work out there. But the same thing here. I might be able to catch a good bag tomorrow, but if I catch a good bag early and gives me time to go look, it could be ugly.
Well, man, you're definitely, if I was in the field right now, I'd be shaking knowing you made it to day 3. But go get after him, dude. You got a meeting to get to. We'll let you roll, man.
Thanks, Kyle.
Michael Neal, better day today. But really, it's the difference of, catching some kickers, which is what you had.
Yeah, I had a 4.5 pound largemouth, 3.5 pound smallmouth. Yesterday, my biggest fish was 2.5, so that's a big difference. I caught probably 75 fish the past 2 days, but yesterday I just didn't get any of those quality bites. So maybe tomorrow I can go back out there, and I really got one good spot that I camped on pretty much all day today, and tomorrow, win, lose, or draw, I'm going there and sitting all day.
Well, the interesting thing, I've seen you both days on this spot you're talking about, and I mean, as tough as the fishing is, I mean, you are catching fish, but it's kind of boring at times, man. You got them poles down, you're sitting there, you're waiting. A lot of guys are casting at schooling fish just randomly, blind casting, but you seem to be kind of just waiting on that one good one to show itself. And how often do you connect when that does happen?
It's really weird. I'm sitting on this spot, and there's pretty much 12 inches busting about continuously. I mean, you can see them there. They get pretty close to the boat, but every, 15, 20 minutes or so, it seems like there's a wolf pack of bigger fish roll in. I think what they're doing is all the bait is up there real shallow in 1.5 to 2 foot of water. I think they're coming up there and feeding, and I think they're going back out behind me and suspended on that point. You don't always catch one, but it seems like if I wait until the right time and I see what I'm looking for, it's like a shad still have to be flying out of the water before you land. Okay. It's like if you don't, you're just wasting your time. Now, if they come up at school in one little small area for a minute or so, then you might be able to work that area over for a couple extra minutes and maybe get a bonus fish. But other than that, it's just sitting there and waiting, keeping that top water in my hand, keeping it ready.
Every school seems to have like something that they'll really go after. So for you, do you have a rotation of rods, or is it kind of one thing that they'll eat when they come up?
I had a rotation in practice. I had like 6 baits I could get bit on. Now I'm down to 1. It's weird. It's not even anything I threw in practice. It's a walking topwater bait. It's nothing secret, but I was catching them on some other things, and it's just like all that died. It's really weird. They didn't school near as good yesterday. But I still caught a bunch, but I thought it was yesterday why they didn't bite the same baits. But today was the same deal. It's just really weird. But one thing I am doing that's a little bit different is I'm Carolina rigging a trick worm. And if you'll notice in some of the videos and things, I can catch a fish or 2 on that when they're not chasing. And it's like it kind of excites the school. It's like fishing deep. You catch one and you can fire something aggressive back in there and get bit.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job. You got to feel a little confident going into the weekend, seeing some bigger fish up there and actually getting that timing down on when to get the bait in. Obviously, there's probably a bunch more big ones there from what you would think.
Oh yeah, I mean there's hundreds of fish there. I honestly think that there's new fish swimming through there all the time. I don't think it's definitely not a resident area. They were schooling from the time I got there this morning until I left. I mean, I left and they were still schooling, but I got so tired of sitting there. They got tougher to catch as the day went on. So I don't know if the higher sun they could see the bait better. I've got a few ideas of some smaller stuff I'm gonna tie on to try tomorrow, just in case they get finicky like they did today.
Well, man, you're doing pretty good. You're sitting pretty right now. You know, you got a top 20 meeting to get to. I'm gonna let you roll. Good job, man.
Thank you.